In 1991, Anthony Caruso, a Torelli family member, better known by his nickname Magic Man, was contracted by Malgeri family member Frank Pioli to murder a Malgeri associate, Dominic Greco, in East Holland, Algonquin. Allegedly, Dominic Greco owed money to Pioli for gambling debts, which he never paid. Dominic Greco, an avid gambler, usually hung out at the S&D Diner, which at the time acted as a front for the Amato family's policy games. The hit team consisted of Tony Caruso, Sammy DeLuca, and Roy Donato, all members of the Russo crew of the Torellis at the time. As a side note, historically, the Torelli and Malgeri families have held a tight relation since the early 1900s due to a lot of their members sharing ancestry from the town of Agrigento in western Sicily. After the formation of Cosa Nostra, these connections remained, and so the Malgeri family would frequently contract with the Torellis on hits that needed to go down in the Northeast. But back to the story. On October 21st, 1991, Tony Caruso, Sammy DeLuca, and Roy Donato showed up to the S&D Diner in 3 separate cars. They entered in through the back entrance, which was a storage room that led into the gambling room where the policy games and poker was done. Dominic Greco was playing poker alongside 2 other Torelli associates, Joe Louis Marino and Stanley Prasa, 2 small-time drug dealers who worked alongside Dominic. Caruso, Sammy DeLuca, and Donato allegedly pulled out Uzi submachine guns from their jackets and began firing into the poker table, wounding several of the civilians there and killing Marino and Prasa. Greco managed to make it to the back alley, where he was finished off by Caruso with a point-blank shot to the head. Sammy DeLuca and Donato managed to escape in their cars, but while Tony Caruso tried to flee in his 1981 Dundreary Admiral, he was spotted by LCPD officers who began to chase after him once they connected him to the hit. Caruso tried fleeing the cops, mostly because he had blowback blood all over his clothing, and he had an Uzi in the car. He led the cops on a chase, and they eventually wound back up in Albany. While trying to make a turn on the Plumbers Skyway, his car flew off an embankment, and he crashed into the water. According to the autopsy, the impact alone was enough to kill him instantly, but even if he had survived, he would have drowned. Later that day, the cops pulled his car out of the ocean and found the Uzi. A quick reminder to like this video if you haven't already, as it helps with the algorithm. Also, anyone who wants to show their appreciation, or more importantly, help keep this podcast going, you can do so by the Super Thanks icon down below or the PayPal Cash App links in the video's description. I've included brief clips of audio from a 1991 wiretap between Frank Pioli and Magic Man Caruso, as well as the LCPD radio chatter from the time of the incident. In the next video, I'll talk more deeply about the relationship between the Malgeris and the Torellis and how they remained close throughout much of the 20th century.
Listen to me. Something's got to be done about that kid basketball and his cousin. Vic's agreeing with me.
I'll go pay a visit to him later today. Once I get done with that thing I was doing.